So the betting favorite to be the Minnesota Fighting Vikings' next offensive coordinator is probably quarterbacks coach Klint Kubiak, the heir apparent, literally, right? But may as well kick the tires and light the fires on some outside names. So here are the top 5 outside OC candidates for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we're going to root this in what Zimmer would want, right? So it's got to fit the criteria. The dude has to be over 50, and also he has to be a former head coach. So cool. So number 1, Anthony Lynn, former head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego for the past 4 seasons, played for Kubiak in Denver from 97 to 99, and then coached with them from 2000 to 02. Longtime NFL running back coach with the Jaguars, as well as the Cowboys, Browns, Jets, and then became assistant to the regional head coach under Rex Ryan with the Jets, as well as with the Bills. Now, he only has 1 season as a full-time offensive coordinator play caller in 2016 with the Bills, and then also intermittently took the reins with the Chargers. But overall, offensive philosophy, scheme, terminology is similar to Kubiak, so you will have some continuity there on offense, especially in the running game. I mean, Lynn is a zone advocate, which would be good for Dalvin, former running back, could work that thing out as well. Plus, also, Zimmer and Allen working clock management together. Beautiful. Next up, outside OC candidate number 2 for the Vikings, Hue Jackson. So former Raiders and Browns head coach, and he oversaw a 1-31 team. Great. But former offensive coordinator at USC as well before Pete Carroll got there. And then Washington. He was in Atlanta in 07. Yeah, that doom season with the Falcons with Zimmer and Bobby Petrino, the gutless bastard. Awesome. And then also, of course, the Raiders before he became head coach, and then also the Bengals. Now, he and Zimmer do have a good relationship. You can also tell from Hard Knocks from back in the day. Like, Zim even had Hugh coach his secondary in 2012 after being fired by the Raiders, even though he's an offensive-minded coach. That's how much he believes in Hugh Jackson's football acumen. And frankly, it's kind of surprising that he hasn't been brought on staff already in some sort of consultant role, right? Because Zimmer does have a propensity of collecting former head coaches. So, next up, outside hire number 3 for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings offensive coordinator opening, Pat Shurmur, asterisk, right? So, bring back that love and feeling. So the problem is that Sherman is the current Broncos offensive coordinator. Took that job last year after getting let go after 2 seasons after being the Giants head coach. But of course, we all know Sherman, right? And he was hired by Zim as tight ends coach in 2016. Sure. He certainly wasn't brought in to replace Norv, who he eventually did after Norv quit. And then he piloted the 2017 magical Minnesota Fighting Vikings offense before taking the Giants job. Now, he's been a head coach twice before with the Browns and the Giants. And also, it's kind of funny. So 2 years with the Browns, he went 4-12 and 5-11, and then 2 years with the Giants, he went 5-11, 4-12. Awesome. But calling plays, he's phenomenal. Now, he does have a decent thing going in Denver. TBD what happens with Drew Lock, but you do have some nice offensive weapons there, and it does seem like he and Fangio get together, get along pretty well. But also, I mean, hiring a new GM or an actual GM because Elway basically fired himself, will there be some changes? I don't know, but could it cost something since it is a lateral move, since play calling in both spots? I don't know, like a 6th-round pick for Pat Shurmur. Is it worth it? Probably just going to draft a kicker or a long snapper anyway. There you go. Next up, outside hire number 4 for the Vikings for OC, Bill Callaham. So currently Stefanski's offensive line coach with the Browns, but he would likely let him out for a play calling job. So he kind of owes us, by the way. So, yeah. Former head coach of the Raiders, lost Super Bowl in 2002 to Chucky, the former Raiders head coach, and the Bucks. And then he went to Nebraska. That didn't work out. But I don't know. Nebraska's gone through so many head coaches. At a certain point, do you think, hey, maybe we're not the Nebraska of the 70s and 80s anymore? I don't know, just a thought. Anyway, but also Callahan's bounced around between being an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach in the NFL since 2008, since he got axed by Nebraska, with stops with the Jets, the Cowboys, Washington, and now with the Browns. He also had 2 years of crossover with Kirk in Washington when he was the offensive line coach, 2015, 2016. Hey, maybe he can bring Brandon Scherf in too. We'll take it. So hire him to be OC and offensive line coach, and then fire Dennison. So he would revamp the offensive line. He's always been an O-line guru everywhere he's gone. He's had phenomenal O-lines. You just look with the Cowboys. You look with Washington. You look at what the Browns have done up front this year. Woo! Come on, let's go. And also, Stefanski owes this one. He does. And also, West Coast concepts would stay intact as well. Lastly, outside hire number 5 for the Vikings OC opening. Jay Gruden, yeah. So this is probably the easiest and probably the most likely if there was going to be an outside hire. So he's currently the offensive coordinator of the Jaguars for like the next 2 minutes. Now, you could say, well, his offense was bad with the Jaguars. Well, but former head coach in Washington, spent 4 seasons with Kirk Cousins, went to the playoffs with Kirk. They didn't win, but no. But also Kirk had career highs in passing, as well as made the Pro Bowl once in Washington under Gruden. Also, that could be because of Sean McVay being quarterbacks coach as well as OC in name only. So, yeah. But also, of course, had 3 years of crossover in Cincinnati with Zimmer when he was OC, and Zimmer was DC under Marvin Lewis. And then this one makes a lot of sense. And also, this one had been visited after Jay Gruden was fired in Washington before, and then after Stefanski got the Browns job. It's like, oh, well, you go outside, and then eventually Kubiak's like, I got this for 1 year. But you would have some semblance of West Coast continuity, plus Zimmer's worked with him before, and then also Kirk Cousins has had some success with him. So if they did go outside the team, I think Jay Gruden would potentially be the guy, but I still think the betting favorite is going to be Klint Kubiak. Despite his relatively newness to the job, 2 years as quarterbacks coach with Kirk Cousins, just want to keep that thing going. Now, as long as it's not Rick Dennison, my goodness. But anyways, your thoughts. Top 5 outside hire candidates for the Vikings OC job. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. While support that work. Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.